François Paul has done a number of watches, Souverain, Octa, and a number of other things. But this one in particular is very comfortable to wear. You can really read it. What I love about it is the weight. I'm a very sporty guy, and I like very lightweight things, whether it's cars, whether it's watches, anything. And this is what I like. And in this one in particular, which is really nice, I also like to have watches that you can actually see at nighttime. And when you basically have the face that is illuminated the way it is, you can really see the beauty of the watch and everything that comes with it. So there's a number of things, like I said, the weight, the ability to see it, and the comfort of wearing is just absolutely great. It feeds me it differentiates itself from everything else that there is out there. We usually have like oval or round type of watches. This one in particular, I love the rectangular shape that it has with the curves that it has. So it makes it different. And I can tell you that I've been very happy to have it and very privileged to have it. And I can tell you the amount of people that have constantly look at my wrist just to have a look at it is just incredible. So there is that, that phenomenal of having something very different that people are not used to, which makes it really nice. And the look of people, like I say, having to look at it is like, whoa, what is he really wearing? I'll give you an example. I was in Paris for a wedding. People started looking at my watch. Then I gave them the whole story behind it, why François Paul had done it, the reason for, a woman's watch, because that's what he wanted. He wanted to make sure that it was always on time and the whole thing. And the whole process, people started really looking at it. And I think during that dinner, I was even able to sell them a watch. Okay, I actually use it every time. I mean, I don't usually take the watch off. And actually, interestingly enough, I only take it off when I go take a shower, to be very honest. And the reason is that I don't like too much the rubber having to stick on my skin. So I just wear it, I take it off there, and then I wear it. And the incredible thing with this watch is the first time that I can actually use it during my racing. So I don't know if I've told you, I do race. It's one of my hobbies. And I actually took it racing. And I think that I'm going to have to now wear it all the time when I race, because at my last race weekend, it brought me very good luck. And I finished a couple of podiums. So I'll be wearing it probably 23 and a half hours out of 24, that little half hour when I'm in the shower. When I first saw François Paul and he told me about the technology of the watch, I just went, wow. I went, this is pretty incredible. And he gave me a little bit of a history behind what he wanted to do for a woman's watch. Unfortunately, women love to have their watches, but sometimes most of them, I would say, have a hard time putting their watches on time. So he gave me the whole story about his thinking process of having three ladies talking to each other. One has another very prestigious watch and another. And he said, what would this third woman say if she was wearing a François Paul jaune? And he would say, well, she would basically saying, it never stops. It keeps on going all the time. So this whole creation came out, and I love telling the story to people. And this is the beauty about it, is that basically this watch, you put it down, after half an hour, it basically hibernates. It goes to sleep. But the beauty is, whether you take it back on your wrist after an hour, a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year, it basically goes back to the time, at the actual time it should be on. And that, when I tell that story to people, it is just incredible. And people say, wait a minute, how is that possible? Well, François Paul was able to invent a mechanism, basically, that after half an hour, it basically knows that the watch is not being worn. So it just goes to sleep like a child and wakes up a little later. So basically, 2.5 years ago, François Paul had an event at his shop like he usually do, wine and cheese and things. And I think it was one of these days where I think it was the whole Rue du Rhône that was open. I think clients could come in and out. So I went to his shop, naturally. He had invited me and my wife, and we went to go and see him. And And I saw this elegant for the first time, and I really fell in love with it. You know, going back to the shape, the way it was, it felt light, it felt different, something that the other manufacturers had not been able to basically create. And I looked at it at François Paul, and I looked at it and I said, it's a little bit small. And I went up to his ear and I whispered, I said, listen, François Paul, you do this in titanium, a little bit bigger, I'm your first buyer. And from then on, he's surprised. I think François Paul is one of these guys that doesn't necessarily respond to any creative ideas that you have, but he has a memory of an elephant. So he'll remember every single detail that you tell him. So he thought about it, and then I think about a year and a half or later, he came out of, the watch came out, and bingo, I said, that's it, I'm getting it, and I got it, and here it is on my wrist. It doesn't have the original band on it, but this band really reflects the beauty of the watch. It really does signify the beauty of it.